Welcome to beautiful Banff, everyone. So, I wanted to provide you with a flexible itinerary that you can use on your next trip to Banff and to Yoho National Park in Canada. So, when we went in the summer in July, we had the most amazing time. The beautiful, gorgeous turquoise lakes were just stunning. We went on these hikes with panoramic views, vast forests. It was just so peaceful and serene. I hope everyone gets to experience this beautiful nature. So we actually flew into Calgary Airport, which is the closest airport to Banff. It's about 1.5 hours from the park. We stayed overnight in Calgary, and then the next day we drove into Banff. So our first stop in Banff was Johnson Canyon. So Johnson Canyon, we initially had some trouble with parking. So do be aware that in the summertime it can get very crowded. So you may have to circle the parking lots a few times before you find a parking spot. And it is advised that you get there earlier in the morning for less crowdedness. So we did the Lower Falls Johnson hike. So that's about 1.5 miles round trip. There was a line for the cave, but it was just really stunning when we got up close. You can hear the thundering roar of the fall, and then you're really up close to the fall. So you have this just refreshing mist coming at you, and it's just so wonderful. And after this, it was about later in the afternoon, so we decided to go back down to the town of Banff. There we walked around. So the town of Banff is actually really nice. They have a lot of shops and restaurants. They have all different types of cuisines, really something for everyone. You'll find something that you'll like to eat there. So it's a small town and you see everything since it is an actual town. You see hospital, public library, the train station, schools, post office. So it's just a really nice, cozy town that's touristy but lots to do. So after that, we went for our next hike in Tunnel Mountain. So this is a little bit more of a strenuous hike. It's about 4 kilometers. Took us around 2 hours. So we're taking breaks along the way, but you know it's going to be worth it when you finally get to the top. And really, the views from the top are stunning. You see the lakes, the river, the mountains, and it's just this beautiful, gorgeous panoramic view of the Banff. So after that, we went to Bowes Fall, which after you've done a strenuous hike is convenient because you can drive right up to it. And it had been raining on and off the whole day, so it was nice because when it rains, then you see all of these pretty rainbows, and those were just stunning to catch, some more vibrant rainbows and some less vibrant ones. And at the end of the day, one of our favorite spots was actually Cascade Gardens. This is just a really pretty, serene, beautifully designed garden with vibrant flowers, and it's really nice. It's not overdone, it's well designed and just beautiful and peaceful. So definitely check that out at the end of the day when you have a chance. So after that, it's the perfect time to go back into the town of Banff and have a nice meal there. There's lots of restaurants you can find. Italian, Indian, Mexican, really anything that you'd want to eat, you can find here. There's also nice souvenir shops if you're looking for sweatshirts, hats, or any other souvenirs. There's some nice bakeries, beaver tails, which is one of their pastries, ice cream, anything really. So after that, we had some dinner and then we made our way to Vermillion Lake. So unfortunately, because it had been raining, it was a little cloudy to see the sunset. but we were able to go by the water, and it's just this, the water is so clear, it's like glass, and you can just see the mountains reflecting into the water, and it's so cool when you see it like that. And yeah, highly recommend. So next we went to drove to Kicking Horse in Golden, and that's also another 1.5 hours from Banff. So our goal with this was to stay here overnight, and then the next day we'll go to Yoho National Park. Now we're on to day two. So from Kicking Horse, we drove to Yoho National Park, which is about another hour from there. And this was actually one of our favorite parts of our trip, was stopping at this cafe called Ethos Cafe. So this is just the most magnificent bakery cafe. They're baking bread on one side, and they have a little coffee shop and other breakfast items. So we walked into the bakery, and just as soon as you walk in, the smell of freshly baking bread just hits you, and it's just so comforting. So, of course, we had to buy a sourdough loaf, and this is actually a perfect idea if you want to stop here, get some bread, and then go to the grocery store, IGA, which is one of the grocery stores here in Canada. You can pick up some other things for sandwiches, and then later on in the day, you can have a nice picnic at one of the lakes. But we really enjoyed this bakery. We tried some of their pastries and their breakfast sandwich and some coffee, and it was just all really delicious. In fact, we were enjoying some of the sourdough bread that we had gotten later with some butter, and I think we were enjoying it so much and just making all of these delicious noises that there was actually someone who was sitting across from us, and he was having some coffee, and he just saw how much we were enjoying it, I think. So he literally got up in the middle of drinking his coffee, told the person next to him to just make sure the waitress doesn't take his stuff away, and he goes and gets a loaf of bread for himself right in the middle, because of course he had to once he saw how much we were enjoying it. So definitely a really good spot to stop at. So after that, we went to Yoho National Park. We stopped at Wapta Falls, is how I think you say it. So this was a nice but muddy hike since it had rained the prior day. And we went and saw the waterfalls. And here at Banff, you'll see lots of waterfalls. So this is one of the other waterfalls that you can catch. So after this, we drove to Emerald Lake. So this is emerald. The water is just this beautiful emerald color, really describes it well. We had a nice picnic by the lake with our fresh bread and cheese and tomatoes and everything else that we had packed from the grocery store. And we just kind of enjoyed the day, walked around a little, lazed, dipping our feet into the water. Then, after we had some leisurely time here, we drove back to Banff, and we went to a nice Mexican restaurant there, Magpie and Stump. We had the nachos and some quesadilla, and it was all really delicious. The portion sizes were large, and the salsas were really, really flavorful. So I would definitely recommend this restaurant if you like Mexican food. And after that, it takes us essentially to day three. But one of the things I did want to mention is that the sun doesn't set here until 10 p.m. So you can literally be out until 9 or 10 p.m. and it's still light out, and you can do so much in one day because of this. So now on to day three. So we stopped here. We One of the popular spots to stay at is in Canmore. So we stayed here in an Airbnb. So we got some breakfast in the morning. There's some nice bagel shops and some nice bakeries. One of the ones I liked was Le Fournail. They have amazing almond croissants. So it's perfect to pick up a few things in the morning, and then you can drive to Lake Louise. And from Lake Louise, we have to catch the shuttle to the lake. So of note, you should know that to get slots in the shuttles, these open up 48 hours in advance, and then that's when you should grab them because they do go fast. Because these tickets are only $8, and if you go through one of the private companies, then it can be much more expensive, $50 and above. So I'll put that link for the site where you can get those shuttle tickets in the description box below. So we went to Lake Louise. This is another magnificent lake. There's the Grand Fairmont Chateau by the lake, which is a stunning place where you can stay as a guest. We did the Lake Agnes hike. So this is actually pretty strenuous. So it's 7.2 kilometers round trip. It's rated as a 7 out of 10 moderate hike. So there's definitely steep portions. We took some breaks. But as you're going up, you can see some really nice views. So on the way there, you get to stop at Lake Mirror. So this is a nice spot to recoup. You can have some snacks, sit by the lake as you make your way up to Lake Agnes. So as we ascended, we kept kind of climbing up. We made it to Lake Agnes, and up here there is a tea house. So this tea house is cool because once a year they have to fly in all of their supplies and food because it is on top of the lake, so it is not too accessible. So they have some unique options. We like the mountain masala chai, and we got the mountain bar, which was had graham crackers, some coconut, chocolate chips. So that was paired well with the chai. And there's also a unique Canadian maple chai that we also enjoyed. So recommend, yeah, stopping here, doing this hike. It's a nice reward once you get to the top. You get to go to the tea house, and it makes it all worth it. And then you get some amazing views again. So after we got back from Lake Agnes around 4 p.m., we took the shuttle to Moraine Lake. So we walked by the lakeshore and there's a hike that doesn't take too long actually. It's called the Rockpile hike, and it has a nice panoramic view of the lake and the mountains. And this one's also a really nice hike to see. So after this, we were kind of exhausted, so we started heading back, and we made our way back to Banff, and then we went back to Canmore for staying at an Airbnb. And now we've made our way to day 4. So day 4 is kind of more of a flexible day. This was also the day we had our flight in the evening. So there's a few options that you could consider. You could do the Sulfur Mountain hike and the hot springs, but since it was already so hot, we didn't want to do this. So we actually did the Art in Nature trail. So this is really cool. They have this in the summertime, and it has some really beautiful artwork in the forest. So some of the art is made on pieces of tree trunk, and this was just really cool and peaceful, and they had some nice quotes, some really cool artwork as well. So definitely check this out if you have the chance. It's not too strenuous, it's flat. So it's a nice way to end the perfect trip in Banff before we headed to the airport. So thank you so much. I hope this helps you planning your next trip to Banff. Enjoy!